welcome to Mind Success. We'll be discussing how to make your goals come to you, the secrets to manifesting fast. What if I told you the fastest way to reach your goals is to stop chasing them? You might be thinking that it's magic, but it's not magic. It's just to focus on a shift in how you think and how you feel. Have you ever chased something so hard, a job, a relationship, that it seems that the harder you push, the further it seems to slip away? I've been there. A few years ago, I wanted to host a pop-up for my brand called Tis for Drip, and I had never done something like that before in my life. I didn't have a venue, experience, or a budget, but instead of stressing over what I didn't have, I started living in the feeling of already having it. So how did I do this? I started giving gratitude for the kind of crowd I want. I started giving gratitude for the venue. I started giving gratitude for the amount of money I was going to make from the event. I also started imagining people. I started imagining the customers coming in. I started doing all these things even before I had achieved this thing, which is called DriftCon. That's the name of the pop-up event I wanted to do. The act of giving gratitude and imagining or visualizing, I did it often and deliberately, multiple times a day. And within months down the line, I was able to connect with the right people to help me achieve this goal. A lot of people I was even expecting to say no said yes to my proposal, and everything fell into place. Also, there was a time I was looking for a new job. I started giving gratitude. I started visualizing the kind of job I wanted. And I did this thing often and deliberately. You need to put in the effort of doing it often. And some few months down the line also, I was able to secure a well-paying job, close proximity to where I stayed. Everything I wanted for that job, everything I visualized, I had already given gratitude for, came to pass. All because I was able to commit to generating the feeling and giving gratitude for what I wanted, often and deliberately. After all these events occurred, that was when it hit me and I realized that you actually don't need to chase your goals. You just need to align your feelings with them until they start chasing you. You just need to align your feeling, your thoughts process, your actions with your goals. And because you're aligning these things, your goals are able to chase you and come to you easily. Now, I'll be sharing some core secrets from Neville Goddard, who is an OG teacher in this concept. Joseph Rodriguez, the person that introduced me to this concept, and Florence Scovel Shinn, also an OG teacher of this concept. Now, let's listen to what each and every one of them has to say about this secret. Neville Goddard said, feeling is the secret. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and continue feeling that it is fulfilled until that which you feel objectifies itself. So what does this mean? It simply means that you should try and generate the feeling of whatever you want before you have it. Let's say you want a car. What feeling would you be generating if you actually had a car? You won't be having the feeling of I don't have the money. You won't be having the feeling of how am I going to achieve it? You'll be having the feeling of I'm fulfilled. I have the car. I have the money. So before you even have that car, you should learn to generate that feeling now. Because you learn to generate that feeling now, you become that person who owns that thing. You don't attract what you want. You only attract who you are. And if you are generating the feeling of whatever you want, the universe just sees it as you already have it and creates ways in which you are able to attract this thing into your life. Joseph Rodriguez explains that your inner world creates your outer world. The more vividly you live your desired reality in your imagination, the faster it becomes in your outer world. And reality rearranges itself to match your inner world. Your inner world is the true reality. Your inner world, the version of you inside, that's the true you. So you should learn to live like the true version of yourself within first before that thing is able to objectify itself on the outside. So that's what Joseph is talking about. Live the way you want to live. Live like a king within. Stop living like a pauper within you. Yes, you don't have the money on the outside, but don't let that determine how you're going to live within you. You have the ability to live anyhow you want to live inside your mind. You have the ability to live like a king. But most people, because they don't have what they want on the outside, they prefer to now live like slaves inside. But if you learn to live like a king inside, even though you don't have that thing, you create a higher chance of attracting it. Your thinking pattern starts to change to align with whatever you want. So it is very important that you take your inner imagination seriously because that is the true reality. Florence Scovel Shinn also writes in The Game of Life and How to Play It, man can only receive what he sees himself as receiving. You only develop capacity to receive it. But if you see yourself as not having received that, you end up not receiving it. So everything is already available for you. It's all about aligning yourself to what you want, often and deliberately, like I said in the beginning. So why does this concept work? We are going to start with neuroscience. There was an Harvard research in 2009 about the brain. And when they did this research, they noticed that the brain fires the same neural pathways when you vividly imagine something as when you actually experience it. Your brain does not know the difference between your external reality and your inner reality. There's also what we call the reticular activating system in the brain. This is the part of your brain that simply filters out information. When you live in your goal, you start noticing opportunities and resources you would have ignored. So your activating system is just looking for means on the outside to make you achieve that goal. Also, from behavioral psychology, your state of mind drives your behavior. When you think and feel like the person who already has a result, you naturally take actions that align with it. Neuroscience has proved it that it works. Your reticular activating system, which is part of your brain that filters information, also starts to work in your favor. And also your behavior starts to change because of this alignment of your feeling, actions, and thinking. Let me give you an illustration. Now, I want you to think of your feeling as your air conditioner. If you set your air conditioner to 22 degrees Celsius, your room will get warmer. But if you set it to 15 degrees Celsius, your room will get cooler. So let me put it this way. If you set your emotional temperature in life to lack, life will keep giving you more of that situation to match that temperature, that emotional temperature in which you have set. So you are responsible for setting that temperature. But whichever way you set it to, life will give you more of that. But if you set it to, I already have it. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. I achieve my goals easily. I am blessed. Life will only start bringing you more things to match that circumstances. So it's very, very important that you align yourself with what you want rather than with what you don't want. Now, let's talk about the steps in which I take personally to achieve my goals. I call it the often and deliberately method. So, the first thing you need to do is be specific about your goal. What do you want? Most people are not specific about the goal. They want different things, but you need to pick one thing that you actually want. What is that thing you want? Now, the next thing you ask is that if I already have it, how would I feel? The next step you need to take is now to generate that feeling. You can use your imagination, you can give gratitude, you can listen to some sounds, anything that makes you generate the feeling of joy about having that thing. After that, you will return often. And I say return often. You do these sessions 3 times daily, 4 times daily, 5 times daily, as many times as possible for that particular goal you want. And what are you trying to do? You're just trying to visualize yourself having that goal. You're trying to journal about having that goal. Anything that is bothering you about having that goal, you're trying to think about it from a positive perspective. And the last step is that you act from that state, take action immediately, because distractions can come and that feeling might fade away. So I always advise that once you have your goal, you've given gratitude for your goal, the next step is to take action immediately. Then also return often and deliberately to it as soon as possible. One thing I always, in the morning when I wake up, I give gratitude for my goals. I journal about my goals. In the afternoon also, I reflect about, okay, how has my goals been? Has there been anything affecting it? I also try and give gratitude for it. And before I go to bed in the night, I also do these things. All these things gives your subconscious mind the relief that all these things already exist. So as a result of that, it keeps creating pathways for you to attract that goal. Your focus is basically generating that feeling as often as possible, often and deliberately. Like I said, that's the secret to achieving things. Instead of worrying about how to achieve it, align yourself to that goal and it will come to you easily. So let me give you a real life example. Let's say you want a car. When you wake up in the morning, you journal about the car, you give gratitude for that. You see all the things you want, the kind of car, the amount you want to spend on that car. Also, in the afternoon, create a time to visualize it. After you visualize, whatever comes to your mind, you take action. And as a result of that, you're laying the groundwork for you to be closer to that goal. I would like to bring a quote by Florence to our attention. She says that faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. She did not say faith receives then acts. It says faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. So you don't need to wait for you to have something in order for you to generate that feeling. The feeling you are generating is you acting accordingly to align yourself to that goal. Another quote is by Neville Goddard. Change the conception of yourself and you automatically change the world in which you live in. Like I always say, consciousness is the one and only reality. So the concept in which you have of yourself needs to change for your reality to change. The secret to manifesting fast is not only in effort alone, but it is in often and deliberately living in the feeling of already having your goal. And I can assure you that as someone that experienced the power of doing these things, it actually works and you're going to see results. Thanks for listening to Mind Success. Before I go, I have a 7-day mental diet group. It's a WhatsApp group. So where I teach how I apply these concepts daily to my own life, and I can teach you special measures in which I used to write my affirmation. If you're interested, click on the link in my bio and I'll add you to this WhatsApp group. You can also start your own 7-day mental diet journey. Thank you once again for listening. Like, share, follow, and have a wonderful and blessed day. God bless. Thank you.